So I always wanted my Windows terminal to look something like this. You know, with these colorful prompt segments, custom colors, clean transparency effects, and this awesome display of system information and ASCII art. And I bet a lot of you would love a setup like this as well. The only problem is that right now I have absolutely no idea how to get any of it. So for today's video, I set myself the challenge of turning this boring default terminal into something that actually looks like this. By the end, we should have fast-fetch system information, a beautiful command line interface, and even a proper system monitor that makes Task Manager look boring. Let's see if we can actually get this working. So in the moment, my terminal is just this boring black block that we all know and of course love. For the beginning, let's keep it simple and try to get a transparent look and some custom colors, which I have seen plenty of people achieve just by changing some settings, so I think this should be no problem for us, hopefully. So if we open this drop down here, we can just click here and we are already in the terminal setup. On the left, you'll find all the settings we can play around with, but since we want the terminal to actually look good, let's start with the appearance section. While scrolling a little, I noticed this setting for acrylic material, so let's enable this. Keep in mind, every time we change some settings here, you have to click save to actually apply the changes. I would say with this new top bar, the terminal is already a lot more modern, but let's take a look at this other customization option I saw, the color schemes. Here we already have a bunch of good color options available like this solarized theme. You just need to select it and then click set as default, and now you got this new unique colors for your code and background. But what if you would like to use your own color combinations? Well, then you either have to set up everything manually, or you can choose a finished theme from this really cool website. I've put the link to it down below, of course. On this website, you can browse through all the different themes the community has already created by simply clicking through the pages down here. If you want a better look at what each theme actually has to offer though, I'd recommend switching over to the Colors tab at the top. This gives you a full overview of all the colors in one theme, making it easier to find what you might like. I have to say, the selection of available colors is absolutely insane. I think I spent more time choosing a theme than actually using the terminal. Personally, I found the Capuchin theme quite cool, as well as the Tokyo Night and Rose Pine looks. Now, getting those themes set up in the terminal is actually the hard part. I almost crashed out trying to figure out how to properly import the theme code, but don't worry, I'll save you from that pain. First, copy the code here, and then in your terminal hit on this Open JSON button, which should open your notepad. Carefully look for schemes, and now most importantly, paste in the JSON code between those brackets. If you want to use more styles, just add a comma after this bracket, and paste the code for the next theme. Please don't forget to save the settings file, otherwise the colors won't show up. I can already see the comments being typed, so do me a favor and hit save. This already looks a lot more unique, but we still haven't figured out the transparency. Next, scroll down the sidebar on the left until you see the PowerShell and command prompt profiles. Click on the one you're using, then navigate to the appearance settings further down the page. First, we have a few options for custom fonts, but we'll come back to those in a moment. A bit further down, I also found this setting, which is honestly pretty hilarious. Turning it on makes your terminal look like it's straight out of a hacker movie from 1985. As cool as that is, we'll keep it disabled for this setup. Instead, scroll all the way down and you'll finally reach the long-awaited transparency settings. For my setup, I found 30% transparency to be the sweet spot. I would also highly recommend enabling the acrylic material, unless you enjoy trying to decipher text through your other open apps. By the way, I hope you remember to hit save after every change. Before I show you those colored prompt segments, I probably should also show you this option that allows to choose a custom background for the terminal. You can either choose to use your desktop wallpaper as the background, or set a custom one by clicking here and selecting any image you like. Honestly, this also looks really nice, and you can also lower the image opacity here as well. Personally though, I still prefer running it without a custom background. I already love the transparent look, but we have a lot more to get done with for today. And this already brings us to the first third-party tool of today, oh-my-posh. If you've ever wondered how people get those insanely clean and colorful command lines, this is usually the answer. One quick thing before you try this yourself. Oh-my-posh is built for PowerShell, so if you're using the classic Windows command prompt, this won't work out of the box. For CMD users, you'll need to use Clink to get similar results. For the actual setup, we will simply follow the documentation of the project that I have linked you below as usual. Okay, let's click here to get started with the setup. As you can see, this takes us to the docs of this tool. First, let's go to installation to see how we can actually set it up. Luckily, we don't have to figure anything out ourselves here. The website already provides the installation command, so just copy it and paste it in your Open PowerShell tab. Once you run it, you'll get this security prompt. Just type A to accept everything. This tool has been trusted by the community for years, so you're probably more likely to break Windows yourself. But hold on a second, we just installed all of that and somehow it's still exactly the same. So going back to the docs, it says here, we have to get a font, and more specifically a nerd font. Nerd fonts actually are a very special type of font that contain an insane amount of additional symbols, icons, and emojis. I have linked the GitHub with all the fonts for you below. Now if you click on downloads, you will see a wide selection of different fonts, but to save you from spending hours looking for the right thing, let's go with the JetBrains mono font. As I already need this for this top bar application I like to use called Yasbig. After the download is finished, head over to your downloads folder, right-click the zip file, and select Extract All so we can access the font files inside. To install all of those fonts at the same time, I like to use a little trick. First select all files and then just right-click on any file and hit install. That's it. Now we can go back to the font settings I showed earlier. Simply select the new nerd font from the drop-down menu, hit save again, and the font setup is finished. Now comes the fun part. We need to set up a custom profile with our favorite theme. So go ahead and copy this code here under the prompt section and place it in your PowerShell. If this just happened to you as well, then you probably don't have a profile file yet. Luckily, you can simply create one with this command according to the documentation. When you run the prompt, it will simply create a profile for you, so now you can go ahead and open it with the command from before. Under Customize, you will find this prompt that tells your shell which theme you want to use. Copy it and put it in your profile file. Then scroll a bit up in the docs and copy this pointer code and replace the pointer section in the notepad here. Next up, back on the website, go to the themes tab where you can find a wide variety of cool unique themes. I personally like this one, so just copy the name and then replace this name in the profile file with it. Like before, don't forget to save the file, and with that, we now have this insanely cool command line. I really have to say, combined with the transparency, this looks insanely cool. And you can also choose themes like this one that display infos like RAM, time, and more. Now this next step is probably the coolest part of the entire video. We're going to install a tool called Fastfetch, and trust me, this is the thing that gives all those fancy terminals the iconic system information display. The tool lets you display infos about your specs, hardware usage, and a bunch of software stuff, which displays directly when you open the PowerShell. First up, we have to visit this GitHub linked below for you. Once you have it open, scroll all the way down, ignoring Linux, till you get to the Windows installation commands. Copy the winget command and run it in PowerShell. Since I already have it installed, it doesn't show much on my screen, but for you the installer should simply run through. Okay, let's open a new shell. And it looks like nothing changed. If you'd like your terminal to look like my Eagle setup or the F14 setup, head over to the guide on my website. There you'll find this download button, which includes all the files you'll need to follow along. If you don't trust me, you can also use the default config just by typing Fastfetch. For the custom config, open up the zip file you just downloaded and copy the folder containing the theme you want to use. Then place it wherever you'd like to keep it. Future, you might appreciate choosing a location you'll actually remember. Next, open the folder of the theme you want to use and look for the profile file. Open it up and copy all of the code inside. Then head back to PowerShell and open your profile again by running notepad $profile. Once the file opens, simply paste the code into it. As you can see, I place a placeholder for the path leading to wherever you saved the theme folder. To get the correct path, simply go back to the location where you stored it, right-click the folder, and select Copy as Path. Then replace the placeholder in the profile code with the path you just copied. Now this part is really important. Make sure you remove the quotation marks that get copied along with the path, otherwise PowerShell will throw an error. Once you've done that, simply save the file, open a new PowerShell window, and if everything went according to plan, you should already see your new custom setup in action. I have to say, this tool is a must-have for any terminal user, as it just adds so much important infos while looking super cool. Before we call it a day, I want to show just one last tool that has to be a game changer. With it, you can check performance stats, running apps, internet connection, and your memory usages just with a very simple command. I am talking about the btop resource manager known from Linux. To actually set this one up on your terminal, you can simply put in this winget command in PowerShell and btop will be installed quickly. Please don't immediately type the btop command like I just did unless you enjoy rage baiting yourself. Instead, close your terminal and reopen it. Then you can finally type btop-win and you should see this interface now. At the top, you can click on Menu, which gives you access to pretty much every customization option btop has to offer. Personally, I like to switch to the Dracula theme and disable the background color. That way, the terminal keeps its transparent look and fits in with the rest of the setup. Up here, you can also switch through some default preset layouts if you want to see some other stats displayed. Also note that after you change a theme here, always close the terminal to save it. Overall, I just love this tool. It gives you all the important information about your system with a single command and presents it in a really unique and visually appealing way. It's honestly a lot cooler than just opening Task Manager and staring at a bunch of boring graphs. And paired with Fastfetch, the new command line interface and the translucent setup, your terminal not only looks ridiculously clean, but also becomes a lot more useful for monitoring and managing your system. Now I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. If you need help or want to ask questions, head to our Discord. To learn more about Windows customization in general, check out all of our channels. And with that, see you in the next one.